Hi there, I'm Andrew Chang. Welcome to About That, the show where we explain and expand on the news. Now, last week, you may remember, we took you onto the front lines of the earthquake disaster that hit Turkey and Syria in the Middle East. And we showed you scenes like this and this. But at the end of the show, we also showed you this.
One miraculous moment. Watch again. That's a baby carried from the rubble where she'd just been born, spending her first day in an incubator without a name and without her mother, who didn't make it. Dr. Hani Maroof at the Afrin Hospital says the newborn arrived with bruises all over. She was exposed to severe cold, he says, but her condition is now stable, thank God.
And we got to thinking afterwards, maybe amid the cold truth of just how devastating a series of earthquakes like these can be, and in a part of the world that has taken on more than its fair share of tragedy, maybe there's some room to show more of these moments of hope. So that's what we'll spend the first half of our program doing today, spotlighting those small miracles that give victims and rescuers the inspiration and motivation to keep pushing forward.
This is a scene at Adıyaman in the southeast of Turkey. Briar Stewart and Corinne and Dimitri, her team, part of our CBC News team in the earthquake aftermath. We've been here for the last couple of hours as these incredible crew members have been reaching a woman who has been trapped in the rubble, under a door, or in some sort of a pocket where she has done pretty well physically since the earthquake early in the morning on Monday. But obviously, in that destruction, it's been very challenging to get to her. So as Briar brings us what's happening, I'll give you just a little bit of background that we've had from earlier conversations. They had thought they'd be able to... Oh, let's listen.
This is the moment. This is the moment, Heather. They brought her out, and it's hard to see because they're actually kind of huddled over her. She's on the ground on the stretcher and doing some, kind of basic stabilization. We know, oh, here she comes down here. Again, just an incredible moment. This happened Monday. She's been in that building for days, freezing cold. She could hear rescuers, obviously, trying to get to her, and now she has been freed. The latest survivor of this earthquake. Really just a miraculous thing to see.
These are eyes bathed in light for the first time in more than 100 hours. She was trapped under a door, buried in rubble. What saved her? A small air pocket which allowed rescuers to talk to her, even pass her food and water. And consider the cold. If you noticed people wearing jackets, gloves, and hats, that's because temperatures in Adıyaman, Turkey, where that rescue took place, have consistently dipped below zero every night and will continue to all week long. The rescue, a much-needed moment of warmth last Friday that could only have happened with a combination of ingenuity and unwillingness to give up and some Canadian technology.
And Briar, we can't underestimate or under stress the role of Canada's volunteers in that. The Burnaby Urban Search and Rescue Team playing critical roles in bringing that woman out. Let's underline that once again.
Yes, and actually, we'll talk a little bit about that. Sorry, I am having a hard time hearing you because it is a little chaotic here. Here, we're going to just... I think they were all trying to get a photo of themselves after the rescue. So we want to get out of the way. We don't want to be in the photo. Dimitri and I are going to move over here. Excuse me. And I'm going to take a step over here to the Canadians who are packing up their equipment because there are other buildings to go to, other sites to search.
For the Canadians, it was a 15-hour flight. 10 volunteers armed with medical and rescue equipment, things like high-tech cameras, recovery gear, to help find and save survivors. They are the only Canadian search and rescue team on the ground in the earthquake zone. And this is a team that understands how to navigate disaster. In 2015, it was dispatched to Nepal after a 7.6 magnitude earthquake killed about 9,000 people and injured 100,000 others. They were also in the Bahamas just before the pandemic when Hurricane Dorian swept through. Again, all volunteers.
You've been here now for a number of hours watching this unfold. What is it like to finally see the moment of her coming out?
Oh, it's incredible. It's such a rare event that you actually have somebody that can survive these conditions, and the team effort here was really something else to really take out the person who was trapped there. So it's something else.
And what do we know exactly? Because I actually could not see because there was such a large crowd of rescuers huddled there. I mean, they grabbed her from underneath, right?
Yes.
Can you kind of take us through that process?
I mean, I wasn't really in there myself, but from what I do know is they did try to set up all that shoring to gain access, make it as safe as possible for them. And then we were assisting them with many of our tools so they can get through a lot of the material there to get access to her.
Absolutely. And where are you guys off to now then?
We're gonna that'll be updated soon. We've got a great team over here that's been sending us to where we need to be.
Lots of need in this area for help. Well, thank you very much. Can I get your name?
Hey, my name is Brody.
Brody?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Brody, thank you very much and good work here.
Hey.
Thank you very much. Meet you, photography.
Yeah. Great job. Great job.
It is no small mercy that for anyone willing to take the time to look, moments of human goodness like this are everywhere. From the Middle East News Agency, miracle amid misery as a man is rescued after 60 hours.
We're in the middle of a recovery mission. Here the street has been completely destroyed. There are rubble everywhere. Some family are crying. They just learned that they lost one of their loved ones. And chances are really slim to find people still alive. But the recovery team just said that they found someone, and they just asked for a bottle of water, and they say that they might be alive. So chances are that the person might survive.
That small thing, rescuers asking for bottles of water, is an example of a moment that means far more than you might ever think, because that request is a sign that someone is alive. Apparently, people started to pass dozens of bottles of water forward to the rescuers, and then they wait. The rescue would still take hours longer, the meticulous work of machines, tools, and bare hands, until finally, his name, according to the news agency, is Mehmet, a 22-year-old who defied the odds, surviving his 10-story building crumbling on top of him. And as the tears flowed, the crowd cheering, rescuers had to shout at people to be quieter because they need absolute silence to listen for more survivors. Yes, you can find goodness if you look for it. A sleepy toddler rescued from the rubble. A joyous moment across the border in Syria as a child, a young girl, is rescued from deep debris.
حكي البابا حكي ايوه ما شاء الله ما شاء الله هيك البابا حكي يا بابا حكي يا بابا الحمد لله على السلامة يا عمو الله أكبر ما شاء الله.
Allahu Akbar, they say. God is great. And how about the youngest of them all? In Syria, residents hear a crying infant whose mother appears to have given birth to her while buried underneath the rubble of a 5-story apartment building. She was still connected by umbilical cord, still alive more than 10 hours after the quake struck. She would, however, be the only member of her family to survive, her tiny body dangerously cold, covered in cuts and bruises.
البنت وصلت مع رجفان غالبا ولداني صار لها ساعتين 3 ولداني تحت الأنقاض. البنت من حسب يعني غالبا متعرضة تحت الأنقاض متعرضة لضغط أو ساقط عليها شيء كدمة كتير واضحة وكتير كبيرة. في معها كدمات بالأذن بالوجه بالجبهة في كدمات بالأضلاع.
But she survived. And according to Al Jazeera, doctors say she'll pull through. She's breastfed by a volunteer who comes in several times a day, and she's putting on weight. We'll be right back after this.